In this video, we'll talk about how to easily reallocate money between your budget envelopes for flexible and agile management of your zero-based budget. Now, for those who have not seen my previous video on managing your monthly expenses, I encourage you to see that, as that will discuss this screen and the work process around here. For this, I want to focus on the rebalance budget functionality. So just the background, I am about halfway through the month, and I've spent about 39% of my budget. And what I basically have is for each envelope or for each monthly category, I have my categories here, my budget, the amount spent, and I have allocated for the rest of the second half of the month, I'm simply going to spend all the remaining money that's left in the envelopes. And that leaves me with a balance box of 0. So in this case, I'll give you two examples for the monthly, and then we'll do an example on the annual. So in this case, I want to look at my optional cancelable items. I'm going to click here. And we'll see that Netflix, normally I have this off to the side. These are fixed expenses that happen every month. I can't really change them. But in this case, Netflix has increased their price. So it was $14 a month, and now they've decided to increase that from $14 a month to $20 a month. So an increase of $6. So I have to make a decision now, since that has increased. Since it's an optional item, I can decide if I want to cancel it, right? But in this example, I'm going to say no. I'm okay increasing the price from $14 to $20 a month from here forward. I'll go ahead and update the budget to 20. But I have to pull that money out of somewhere, right? So it shows I'm $6 over budget. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to my entertainment, and I'm going to say, okay, instead of 119, I'll just do 119 minus $6, right? So I'll have $113, which will be the amount that I'll do for entertainment from here forward. So I'll click the rebalance button, and it'll show me, okay, you are going to remove $6 out of entertainment into your streaming service. And I'm going to do this for all future months because I know that this is going to happen they've just changed the price. So I'm going to hit proceed. Now what that will do is you'll see my budget, which is on the left hand side here for streaming, will increase from $14 to 20, and my entertainment will decrease from 155 to 149. So that decreased, that increased, and from here on forward, my entertainment budget every month has been reduced, and my Netflix budget every month has been increased. That's how that rebalance works. It allows you to readjust the way you want your monthly expenses. Now let's take another example here where I want to have something is happening this month that is maybe more unexpected. I'm going to let's say that I have some family coming in and I need to entertain them, and I want to spend more money on than normal on entertainment. So in this case, I'll say, okay, I'm going to increase from $113 to $200, right, on entertainment just for this month because they're coming in. Oh, and by the way, I need an extra $5 on tolls because I need to go pick them up at the airport. So in this case, I'm $92 over, and that money has to come from somewhere, but I only want it to happen for this month. It's just a special situation for this month, and I want to be flexible in the way that I manage my budget. So in this case, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to keep everything the way it is. Where can I reduce? So in this case, I can say, well, I have this miscellaneous funds. I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to take all my discretionary funds and not use those because I'm going to be doing this. I still have $53. So then I go and say, okay, well, what am I going to do in this case? Well, I have this increase. There's a goal that I have. Every month I try to build up my emergency fund. I could reduce that by $50 if I want to. Or I could maybe say, well, maybe my groceries, I'm going to reduce my groceries by, a little bit this month. 326 and keep my goal intact. Okay, so now I can hit rebalance and it will tell me, okay, yes, you want to move money out of groceries and out of miscellaneous into tolls and into entertainment, but I only want to do it for this month. So by doing this one, what will happen is you'll see that the budgets will be modified for this month, basically taking money out of one envelope and putting it into another envelope. But next month, when we go to June, there'll be these temporary changes for this month won't flow over to next month. Next month, I'll continue with my normal allotment of my envelope budgets. Okay, one thing that I also was going to mention, you'll notice that I have this thing called monthly rollover of $15 on the top. That means if I underspend my, right here I'm saying I'm spending it all, I'm spending it all. If I get to the end of the month and I actually don't spend it all and there's some money left over, it'll go in automatically into this rollover and I'll see it up at the top. Now I can do a couple of things with that rollover money. I can, and what I'd like to do personally, I can go to my annual expenses, my annual goals like vacation goals or, maybe even a big furniture purchase, and I can apply that to there. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. Um, but I could also apply it here. I can say, well, that's available. So because my friend's coming into town and I want to show them extra good time here, I need some more money as much as I can. I'm in about $215. Okay, I'm going to be, for this month, I'll be $15 over budget, but that's okay because I see my rollover money. And what that means is at the end of the month, when I go into next month, it will see that I overspent 15 and it'll automatically pull the rollover to cover that, and my rollover will drop down to 0. Okay, but I don't like doing that. I personally like to use those any rollovers I can get from my monthly to fund annual larger goals. So speaking of that, we'll now go to the manage year and look at the annual goals. Okay, so now we're on the manage year. So this one, the first thing I want to point out is if you look at the monthly expenses, you'll see that here is that $15 that we were talking about before. That $15 is the amount that I have underspent on my monthly expenses, and that it shows also as an available funds that I can use. So if I don't use it for my monthly expenses, as I mentioned, it becomes available. I can go ahead and allocate it to any of my target goals here. For example, let's say that I want to use that $15 to increase my Christmas gift budget. So I'm going to say, okay, well, I have budgeted this money for gifts through the whole year, but at the end of the year, I'm going to go ahead and put an extra $15 there, right? And now what you'll see is that I'm moving money from my underspend on monthly into this, and if I hit the rebalance button, it will show me, okay, are you sure that you want to take your underspend and move it into gifts? And I'll say yes, go ahead and do that. Okay, so you'll see that my gifts given budget has gone up, and to accommodate this one, my underspend on monthly expenses is now consumed somewhere, so it's no longer available to me. Now, what happens if I actually underspent on my monthlies? Well, if you underspend on the monthly, there's two things you can do. One, if I underspend just a little bit, let's say $10 or something like that one, I can just let it hang there, and then the next month I can go ahead and underspend my budget by that amount and recover it. Or if it's too much or I can't recover or I don't want to, then what I need to do is I need to move money from one of my annual expenses back in to cover that over expenditure. And let's give a quick example on that one. So I'm going to go back into, let's say, March and cause an overspend on my monthly expenses by $100, and we'll see how that works. So I'm going to go into track. I'll go ahead and, okay, we want to look at March, and I want to pick, let's say, something under entertainment. Might be a good thing to do. Okay, so let's take this one. This Club Pablito. I'll go ahead and add an extra $100 in there. Okay, so now let's come and see what that did. So if I come over here and I update here, so it's going to basically show me the $100 overspend in March, what I just added, and it'll show therefore that, hey, I'm over budget, my plan is red, I need to do something about it. So if I'm overspending on the monthlies, then that means I have to give up somewhere else. So I take one of my annual expenses. For example, I might say, going down through all of these, okay, you know what, I have clothing, for example. I'm going to go ahead and take off $100 from there, so $321 here. And or you can do it from multiple of them. For example, I can say, okay, let me do $400 here. That'll free up some of it. And let's say that I want to go down to my pet care here, and then go down to, let's say, 150. Okay, so I actually can do 160 there. Okay, so now I freed up money from pet care and I freed up money from clothing to cover this overspend. So if I click rebalance, it will show me, okay, are you sure that you want to take money out of pet care and out of clothing envelopes and push them to cover your overspend on your monthlies? I'll say yes. And what will happen is the monthly budget for entertainment in March is going to be increased, and the budgets for my clothing and for my pet care will be decreased accordingly, so that I'm essentially taking money out of my annual envelopes and pushing it into my monthly envelope to cover the expense. So there we go. Okay, so now we're done. So that's how I've given you the example about switching between envelopes on the monthly. I've shown you how to move money from the monthly into the annual, and I've shown you how to move money from annual back into the monthly to cover any overspend. Mother's Day, right? Oh, I forgot to budget for Mother's Day, and I really need to do something there. So I'm gonna do, say, $75, huge gift, right? Something big. But you know what? That's gonna put me over. So what am I going to do? And I can reduce my gift giving later in the year, but I might say, well, I still need those. I had just forgotten about Mother's Day, so I'm going to then pull that out of somewhere else. So in this case, let's say the travel budget, right? So let's say that this 1,190, I do, 1,115 or something like that, and that gets me to zero. And I say rebalance, and it's going to say, okay, you're going to move money out of travel and into gifts given. Go ahead, and it'll clear it out. So this was the last example about on the annual expense, moving between budgets on the annual expenses. So we've shown all the cases, moving between envelopes on the monthlies, between envelopes on the annuals, moving money from monthly to annual and from annual to monthly. So I think a key takeaway here is that the budgeting can be flexible. It should be. It should be flexible and it should be agile. We can achieve our budget targets and our budget goals without having to feel that we are constrained by something that we decided at the beginning of the year, and not having an outlook about how that impacts the rest of the year. So, I just like to, we get a lot of freedom and a lot of empowerment when we see what's happening and we make those priorities, make those decisions, and we have an easy way to reallocate our budgets on the fly as necessary. So I hope you found value in this recording, and encourage you to watch my other videos and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.